Minoru Yamasaki, designer of the World Trade Center Twin Towers, had a vision of a world in balance. I feel this way about it. World trade means world peace, and consequently, the World Trade Center buildings in New York had a bigger purpose than just to provide room for tenants. The World Trade Center is a living symbol of man's dedication to world peace. Beyond the compelling need to make this a monument to world peace, the World Trade Center should, because of its importance, become a representation of man's belief in humanity, his need for individual dignity, his belief in the cooperation of men, and through cooperation, his ability to find greatness. Minoru Yamasaki, greatbuildings.com. Divine Discoveries at Ground Zero, a multimedia presentation by Connie Baxter Marlow. Presented in Sedona, Arizona, January 16, 2004. Aspen, Colorado, June 28, 2005. An uplifting look at the events of September 11, 2001. That triggered the opening of the human heart and the rebirth of America. Heralding the coming of peace on earth. With substantiating evidence and perceptions of America. For more information, go to theamericanevolution.com, youtube.com, The American Evolution. Substantiating evidence. Angel Lopez, RN, rescue worker at Ground Zero, September 15th to October 4th, 2001.
Anger is overwhelming. Anger is a very energizing, motivating emotion. Anger has been my best friend most of my life. I experienced severe childhood trauma. It made me angry. I spent most of my adult life trying to resolve issues of sexual abuse, issues of abandonment, issues of drugs, all of those issues that come with abusive childhoods. And the only constant in that entire process was my anger, mostly at myself. I had difficulty being angry with other people, and so I didn't know what else to do with the intensity of anger that I had, and I used it on myself to the point of trying to kill myself on many occasions. I hated life and didn't want to live life. And I would have done anything to not have to feel pain, which is what the anger was actually hiding. Anger is the flip side of pain and depression for all of us as human beings. We get depressed because it's easier to be depressed than angry. We do a lot of things because it's easier to do than be angry, than deal with our anger, than feel whatever pain is causing the anger. And as a result of that, we build these protective walls, we build defenses, and we strike out at each other as opposed to listen to one another. For me, I walked into the rubble at Ground Zero, and I saw before me such massive destruction that I couldn't ever have possibly imagined. Greater than any war picture I had ever seen. And the emotion that was felt there, everybody around me felt anger. Everybody around me felt angry. They were angry at the terrorists. They were angry at the president. They were angry at the airlines. They were angry at whatever. We were so out of control at that moment, September 11th, 2001. And when we're out of control as human beings, we respond in anger. And we did it really well. I looked at that devastation and got it. I don't know why I got it at that moment, but I got it. I looked at that rubble and saw the rubble of pain in my life. And it was the anger in my life that caused that devastation. And I immediately saw it on the outside. I immediately realized that it was the anger as a collective consciousness of human beings that caused the destruction of the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and Flight 93. Yes, there were terrorists that flew those planes, but they were only responding in the anger that's out there. We are angry people. We're angry at the guy at the grocery store. We're angry at the person on the street who cuts us off. We're angry because we didn't get what we wanted at work. We're angry at our spouse. We are angry people. And every time, no matter what the anger is about, it gets thrown out into the universe. We have victims, people in our society who have justified anger. Righteous indignation, we call it. I don't care what you call it. When you throw it out into the universe, it's anger. It's one big collective anger. And the more you feed it, the more it grows. And the more it grows, the more it self-destructs. Violence begets violence. When I saw that, when I realized that, and made a choice not to be angry, period. Let it go. Not fuel it. The anger is fuel. I'm not going to feed it. And I walked around ground zero, not knowing how not to be angry, because that's what I know how to do best, and everybody around me is angry. And I meditated. I was a walking meditating machine because I didn't know what else to do. Going through my chakras, doing my little mantras that I've learned over the years. Because I so, with every cell in my being, did not want to attach another piece of anger to what was there. I will not feed this anger. I won't do it. I can't change what you're going to do. I can't change the next guy. I can change me. If every person in the world changed him or herself, we change the world. That's it. That's all we need. That's the only thing that we can do. And I did it while I was down there by taking these firemen and these construction workers and these policemen and holding them in my arms and loving them. And they were angry. They were angry because their buddies were underneath that rubble. And they couldn't get there and get them out. They were angry because there were children on those airplanes that died and they couldn't save them. They were angry because their families were suffering. And I couldn't feed it. All I knew was I couldn't feed the anger. And the only way I knew how to do that was to love you instead. To find that somewhere deep inside of me. To love you and hold you and let you go through your process. I began wearing t-shirts saying I give hugs. I wrote it on my hat as a result of needing that myself. Realizing the need to be touched, the fear that we were all feeling, the need to connect with everybody there, the powerlessness, the absolute powerlessness that all of us felt when we arrived, and there was nothing that we could do about it. We couldn't fix it. We couldn't find anybody alive. We didn't know what had happened. We didn't know what to tell you. And we didn't know what to do. We were all professional people that always have answers and always can fix it. And we were in a situation that we couldn't fix. And we didn't know what to do with that. I realized as I began hugging people that everybody just needed to know that we were all going to get through this okay, and that emotion is universal. No matter what we say, no matter what we feel, no matter how we articulate it, the emotion was universal. And it began walking the streets, and I was surprised initially by the response that I had. But firemen would stop and hold me and just cry and not say anything. I would have men in dump trucks driving down the street who would stop traffic, get out of their dump truck to come and get a hug. I had a priest come out of the temporary morgue one day, looked at my hat, asked me for a hug, took me in his arms, and he said, "You cannot imagine how many body parts I have blessed today." And I said, "No, I can't. I can't imagine. What do you need? I will hold you as long as you need me to. There's nothing else I can do."